Hey, what's happening, world? It's your boy, Mr. LeVar, and this the Barz with LeVar podcast. Appreciate y'all for pulling up and sitting down with your folk. So, as usual, this the way the format goes. Questions gonna pop up on the screen that I'm gonna get from comments, DMs, and lives, and you're gonna get real on the spot, dead ass answers as we dive into the creativity, artistry, and processes of creating entertainment gold. After that, we're gonna wrap up the episode by performing either one of my songs or my featured guests will do a performance of their own song. We're gonna leave one verse open during the performance, and it's gonna be a part of the hashtag Open Verse Challenge. Now, what you're gonna do is tag the artist as well as Barz with LeVar. You're gonna use hashtag Open Verse Challenge, share that video with the artist and everyone else you know. But before you do anything else, like this video, share this video, subscribe to the podcast, and if you haven't done it already, go to barzwithlevar.com and go get that merch. Now, with that being said, hey, I got my player partner from the South that I'm finna put y'all on with, man. From a high school dropout to a U.S. Air Force veteran, my dog done took an unconventional route to success from earning his diploma, took his talents to the LA Film School, turned that into an associate degree in music production. He a talented songwriter, producer, brand marketer, family man. Look, I could really just keep going, but I'm gonna let him do it himself. So please join me in welcoming my man SwampTree Sater from Middle Tennessee to the Barz with LeVar family. Give him a round of applause. Say what's happening.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. This is SwampTree Sater. Here in Lewis County, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. There's west, east, and middle. That's the tri-star. So this is that middle star where I'm at. I'm about an hour and a half from Nashville. About an hour and a half.
So in the city of music, huh?
Well, I'm pretty far from that. I'm off in the sticks. I think it's about 30 minutes from the closest town in any direction. Like you go west, it's 30 minutes. East, it's 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes from everywhere else. We got a Walmart and a couple Dollar Generals, and that's about it.
I mean, you know what I call that, bro, though? I call that peace. You know what I mean? I call that comfort. That's what I call it. So I take it and I run with it. You know, I'm from originally out of Georgia, the north east side of Georgia, Gwinnett County. And back then, when I was back there, it was just like what you was living in. It really wasn't nothing but trees, dirt, and a couple of stores. You know what I mean? So that's what I know. But look, man, I'm glad to have you on the show. I appreciate you for pulling up. So you know how it go. I done got a couple of your viewers, a couple of mine. They put a couple of questions on deck for us. So I'm gonna just dive right into it if you're good with it.
Yeah, let's go, man.
Cool. So first question up is, where do you find yourself now in your career and personal life? And can you paint a picture of your current projects and aspirations?
All right, so right now, first off, like I would want to say that as an independent artist, I still have my hustle that's not music, you know what I mean? I'm finishing my GI Bill right now, and I'm doing some mechanic work on the side. I always pick up work with, my buddies doing odd jobs and stuff like that. But as far as my career, I did set that up for success with my GI Bill by getting my degree toward my passion. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people forget that they can use that and use it towards something that they love while they work a job. I actually did the online program, so it was great for me. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely tout that. But in my personal life, I just had my sixth child. I got ones that are turning 18 over the next couple of years. My oldest is 18, but I try to balance that home life with the studio life, and luckily I have a very supportive wife. My wife Shana, she's very supportive to me. Most wives, a lot of women, they wouldn't be as patient if you were, you make music, you know how it is. Listen to that beat on loop for an hour. She's like, I'm gonna go in here and read.
It takes a lot from both parties, you know what I mean? And I agree with you. Having that support system means a lot, especially to the artists, because like I've even had to tell mine that I appreciate her sometimes, because I've been around some of my partners in the studio, be it a home studio or in the actual studio, and they gal constantly calling their phone or coming in the room, being impatient. Like, damn, how long this gonna take? I was fortunate enough not to have that problem. Mine, bro, she'll literally, and I said this on one of my previous episodes, like, I get off of work at 4 o'clock my time, and I'll spend a few hours with her, you know what I'm saying? We do the family thing, you know what I mean? But then I'll literally be in the studio till 4 in the morning. She'll pop her little head, like, you good? Give me a drink, give me something to eat. I'm like, yeah, I'm straight. And then she go back to watching her, I call them murder, kill shows, but you know them. They love it. I don't know why. That's the thing.
I don't get it either. I thought this was the same one on repeat for the last 2 years.
That's what it seems like, huh?
yeah. I know the angle is different, but it's the same blood and the same body. It seems like
the same shit going on, but they love it, man. But yeah. So tell me this. Let me know what you're working on right now, bro. So, besides, I know you got a new album, so I don't want to dive too deep into that. But let me know about some of the stuff you're working on outside of that.
Well, really, I can let you know about really the game plan of what I have. I have a homie that was, you know, when I started doing this rap thing, I saw that he was doing it too, and me and this guy, his name's IP Johnny. If you just type it in, all one word, no space, IP Johnny. I have a couple feature songs with him already distributed. It should be easy to find, but we were really homeless on the street, like selling dope. You know, we were both junkies at one point. You know what I'm saying? Now we want to have a message in our music. Like, I share a little bit of a message with him that, like, you know, what you can make it, you can come back. Even if you slip and fall, like he slipped and he had a slip, a lot less long ago than I had. You know, I'm 7 years off meth, and opioids were never my thing. Yeah, I appreciate that. Opioids were never really my thing, but you know, I was kind of addicted to the game, and he was around back then, and now we're making music now. So I have a project with him that really means a lot to me. It's some of the coldest bars. I just recently went back and listened to it, but it's some of the coldest bars because they're so raw, because they're about that part of my life in Owensboro, Kentucky.
That's what's happening, man. I can apply that. I did, but I want to verbally give you those flowers, because we don't, as human beings, show each other that appreciation and give each other those flowers. And I know that's not easy to come back from, because I got one of my best cousins was my best friend. Lived with me all the time in Atlanta and Texas. It didn't matter. Like, if I was somewhere, he came and moved with me, and he deployed to Korea back in 2000, 2001 time. And when he came home in 2003, my dog just wasn't the same. You know what I mean? Because, you know, just like I know, you know, when you deployed, especially in that era, there's things that you go through that cause some people to go through shit. And he real bad right now on a lot of opioids and really almost anything that can take his mind off of the shit he see in his head. So I can applaud you, because you was able to beat that demon. You know what I mean? So
and you know, it's real sad because, you know, I got a little brother up in Michigan on lockdown right now for trafficking. I got one of my best friends in the world. I met this dude. His name's Pat. He became one of my best friends real fast. You know, he moved away for a little while, come visit me for about an hour. Next thing I know, he's locked up in Kentucky. Like, people are still falling away from the stuff. So that's really my plan with the music. You know, I talked about the IP Johnny project, but really I want to go back, you know, to the cities that I grew up in over my life and over my childhood that affected me. You know, make the Marrero, Louisiana mixtape where I grew up as a boy. Make the Bay City, Michigan mixtape where I graduated high school. Make my Florida Panhandle mixtape where my mama and my sister are at. You know what I mean? Like,
are you saying came out with them, or that's a project you want to work on? Are you saying you've already worked on those projects, or it's a future project?
No, I'm saying like that's the plan, because, you know, my current projects and then my aspiration projects, like I've got all these projects in the works, you know, and there's also my favorite thing that's been happening lately as well, and it goes right along with the plan, is collaboration, because there's all this stuff with beef, but really in the lanes that I'm seeing, like there has been like petty beef recently and stuff. But the thing about it is, I was able to talk to both parties and kind of like I'm trying to like chill everything out because no one's gonna get more artistic when they're trying to do the same old beef stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll tell you right now, I have a track on the album called Beef Eater. You know what I'm saying? Just to, not naming no names. I don't name any names, but you know, for aggressive bars like 50 Cent, you know, before the Ja Rule thing, he had aggressive bars that weren't, he wasn't talking about nobody. You know what I mean? And some of the songs, I mean, well, maybe you didn't know who he was talking about, but
they were aggressive bars that were subtle hits to certain people at times, and maybe sometimes it wasn't. It was just he spitting fire ass bars. But we don't have that no more. We ain't got that no more though, bro.
Right. And like I seen a thing that I follow a couple different like record labels, and I seen a guy say something about DJ Mustard's new album getting 18,000 records sold when he just had the biggest song in the world that got billions and billions of streams with They Not Like Us, right? So I commented on there because I'm interested in that stuff. I mean, and I put on there, you know, regardless, I think if because that song was the culmination of said beef and it was going back and forth between, I mean, regardless of who you like, they're some of the biggest selling artists in the world.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. You can't take that.
So it's gonna catch eyes from everywhere, and you're gonna get a say because it's a giant part of the culture. It's like, you know, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like,
good analogy. Yeah, because you're right. So I agree. I do think that vision of aspiration that you want to do, where you're gonna show, pay homage to where you came from, and spit those aggressive bars. Please bring that, bro, because we don't really get that no more. So please bring that. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what it's missing right now. Like the aggressive bars without making it petty and like talking about fucking your bitch. I mean, pardon my language, but it's in every song. Like I talk shit about that in my songs. You know what I'm saying? Real like if they fucked your bitch, she ain't your bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the bars in my song. If they ever fucked your bitch, she ain't your bitch.
That's real. And then they be getting ass hurt about it. You know what I mean? But
right. How you fuck a hoe in one song and get heartbroken the next? That's another bar I got. You know what I'm saying?
That just makes absolutely no sense. Like
unbelievable. I mean, I got a song about my wife coming out. How many rappers got that?
Not too many at all, bro. That's a very I can't even say a lost art because that really has not happened too often at all. Just be honest.
You know, in the song title, Life Sentence, the song title's Life Sentence. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's hard and romantic at the same time. We ain't got that since the 90s.
Nah, you're absolutely right, bro. That's like Pac, Biggie era, Jay-Z, Nas era back then when, you know, they was doing their shit. And then trap music came out, and it all changed. But with that being said, so we kind of went back to the beginning and touched on it a little bit. I want to ask my own personal question before I lead into this question, kind of make it a two-part question.
Sure.
What started your love for music is my question. And how would you describe your artistic style and approach to music production? And how has that evolved over time?
My love for, I was born in 1986. My first CD was Crisscross, Totally Crossed Out, and my little brother got the Country Chipmunks album.
Yeah.
Before that and after that, the radio, the FM radio, bro. Yeah. And when I was about 11 years old, I realized what a copy rotation was because I memorized all the songs, and I would go to the oldie station because the oldie station would pay best of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And you was getting R&B, you was getting soul, you was getting rock, you was getting blues. My grandma loved Elvis from a very young age. I didn't know who the Beatles were until I started smoking weed when I was 14. Then I discovered the Beatles and became a Beatles fan. So very my music influence very very commercial, but I knew every word of Doggy Style about a year after it come out, and I was nowhere near 18. Yeah,
right? As none of us really were. But go ahead.
Yeah. This is for the G's and this is for the hustlers. This is for the hustlers. Now back to the G's.
Yeah, throwback. See, the kids these days don't know about real music, bro. Just saying. And that's no dig to none of the music that's out right now, because I do rock with a lot of the shit that's out right now. Besides,
oh yeah, me too. And it's so diverse.
Shit. Say again.
It's so diverse right now. There's a bunch of cold stuff out right now. There's, I love these KRS-One videos that they're putting out with this poetry shit. I love that.
I can't say I've seen that. Put us on game. What you talking about?
I've been seeing KRS-One just pull up and he's got like OGs in the rap game and they're just doing acapella, just wordplay, like coming up and just spitting knowledge.
Okay. Do you have a handle or is it just specifically KRS?
Oh no, I just scrolling through. Shout out KRS-One. Sublime put me on the KRS-One back in the day, the rock band Sublime. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to put that. I'm gonna try to find that, and I'm gonna make that something I put on the put as a little banner on here, because I think that that's something important for people to come and see right now. So what is your style like? What's your artistic style like? And how has that evolved over time?
Well, when I started rapping, the reason I started really wanting to record it and put it out there is because when I was a big fan of Ludacris. I've been a big fan of rap my whole life. But as far as like right now today, I was seeing guys like, Upchurch, Tom McDonald. I found different rappers through those guys like Mad Child on Tom McDonald's in, like all these different communities. I found Mercules through them. Like I didn't know about Mercules until he had the song with Upchurch, and now I found Mercules. I was like, hold up. You know what I mean? And that I've realized that's the new way people are finding new artists, and those guys are independent and they're showing it. And there's kind of like a formula, like you put it all out there, see what works, and you run a little bit more with that. It's actually the YouTube formula for real.
Yeah, that's a big thing, is people don't pay attention to the fact that this formula, which is different than the algorithm, but they play a part with each other.
Right.
That formula is what works for you and what is, I hate to say catchy, because catchy ain't the right word I want to use, but you got to find that thing that you know how to do and you know how to do very well. Once you find that, then you got to know how to work the algorithm so it gets displayed properly. Because I can't do what you do and you probably can't do what I do, because we do two different things, even though we're in the same field, right? But it's just like cooking. You know what I mean? You can have 10 chefs in the kitchen and they all can make a hamburger, but they all make that hamburger differently, and it's still gonna be fire regardless of which burger you choose. That's kind of like that formula. You got to find what works for you. Once you know how to make that burger and or make that music or whatever it is you're creating, put it out there and then learn how to work that algorithm.
Right,
so,
exactly.
With that being said, let me go to the next question. So what was the turning point that motivated you to earn your high school diploma, and how did this decision impact your future path leading up to LA Film School?
Okay, well, that's kind of like two different periods there, because really I dropped out halfway between my junior year. I was kind of going through family things. I had just moved back from Florida to Michigan, you know what I mean? And then I decided to go back to school because I could. I had that opportunity to go back and actually earn my diploma. My grandpa was going to allow me to do that, you know what I mean? Because I lived with my grandpa when I was from 14 on, like most of the time I lived with my grandpa. Okay. So I was paying rent. I worked full time before my senior year and stuff. And when I went back, it was kind of on a computer program that led me to graduate a little bit faster and also work at the same time and earn my diploma.
Okay.
But my LA Film School stuff is actually a lot more recent. That that was more part of the stage in my life that began by me getting out of prison with a plan in 2019. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
And my initial plan was to get a trade for a year and then go to work. Well, I had 3 years of GI Bill left after I finished the welding program I was in. So while I was in the union, I went to LA Film School and got this. So what motivated me really was the passion I had for music and seeing, like with the last question, these culmination of all these people that said, you know, you can only ever do it if you try.
That's facts. If you don't shoot your shot, you ain't gonna make it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I'm over here because this is my ammo. I'm over here like this.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah, you should. You know what I mean? And that's what I also have spoken about before that I'm open about is that's what my problem was, and that's what held me back to a degree is I've always had the talent. That ain't been a problem. My problem was coming from being an 80s baby, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Social media wasn't popping like that when we was coming up. Social media wasn't popping like that really as our early adult years. You know what I mean? It wasn't really hitting like that. So when it became popular, I held myself back because I was like, man, I ain't trying to do that. Like, let me just do my shit. Let me do it the old school way. Let me do it in a club, on the radio, shit like that. I ain't worried about social media, but I had no choice but to change that outlook.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let me touch on LA Film School real quick though.
Sure.
Speak to us about LA Film School, what you went through, what you learned, what the processes were, what kind of software, hardware they either gave to you guys and or allowed y'all to use if they didn't give y'all anything. Like, touch on LA Film School a little bit.
Sure. I have right here, this is the MIDI keyboard.
Okay.
That they sent.
Word.
Launch key 25 is pretty nice.
Okay.
I consider it. I consider it very, very sinful of myself that it is dusty right now, but I've been on so many different beats. But they got me I have, what is this? Oh, I forget what they call it. The P58, I think.
Okay.
Harman Kardon P58.
What a microphone? Yeah, Mike.
They also send you a MacBook, pretty nice MacBook Pro.
Okay.
They send the Focusrite. I got my headphones here. I think these are Audio Technica.
Okay.
It's like a $4,000 package, and the spool's about 40 racks. But you know, for any veterans out there, I highly recommend if you want to be artistic and have your own free time. It's self-paced.
Right.
You know, they had 11% finish rate, and don't let that intimidate you. Don't let that intimidate you.
That's something I was gonna say, because even with I'm still active, and you know, we get CCAF, we get all of that, and I like to try to clip whatever it is I can.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've already got my associate's degree, but I'm gonna get my bachelor's. So I'm in BM, vehicle maintenance, right? But I had my degree in automotive technology before I even went to the Air Force. But I figured if I can clip, because all I need is college algebra to get my bachelor's, right? So I'm gonna just go ahead and clip it. Real quick conversation about what clip is, if you don't know. It just means if you think you're smart enough to pass a class without having to take the class, and you pass that test, then they'll give you credit for passing the class as if you took the class. But for me, I feel like those that are in this industry, because LA Film School, I imagine, is not just for artists or sound engineers or producers. If you are in the entertainment industry in general and you need to know how the process works, it sounds like they're giving you the tools you need, literally the physical tools you need, and the intelligence, the knowledge, I should say, to earn that degree. I would say pay attention to what he's saying and go with that.
Yeah, well, I actually, what I would say about LA Film School is they taught very good business side of things. They went a little bit into like sync licensing. They went into like your all the different forms of licensing, because if you're a new artist starting out and you haven't had any education, which is pretty much what this podcast is supposed to help for, I want to let people know that read up on your licensing, because there's only like really 6 or 7 websites or like entities you have to deal with, and any manager, business manager, or promoter, or like if you have a music manager, that's all they're gonna do is they're gonna upload your music to these 6 websites that you probably could have done yourself
on your own. On your own
with a little bit of research.
If you can, you don't have to, but if you can, would you be able to shed light on a couple of the sites that they may be able to go to as viewers for sync licensing and things like that?
Most of it, I mean, I would say do your own research, but I would say very important to get published. And I use ASCAP. You can use ASCAP or BMI. It's very important to get published, because I use DistroKid and I distribute, right? I'm not publishing all the songs I put out right now. I want to wait until I have an album out. I'm going to put that album into publishing first. That way they say, okay, here's this guy with an album. Then I'm going to go back and put all the singles I already distributed. I'm going to release everything as singles behind that with the publishing, because what the publishing does is looks at everything for you and make sure you get your money. And they don't
full copyright, because that's not what necessarily DistroKid or TuneCore or some of those do. I can't really speak on TuneCore, so I'm gonna take that back, because I could be misspeaking on that, because I'm not really well versed at TuneCore. I don't really use it. I use United Masters or DistroKid and ASCAP for my publishing and my distribution.
Same here.
Yeah, because I know for me, like prime example, I finished an album which is a songwriter's demo album. I finished that album in February. That was an album that I literally did 16, 17 songs in about 19 days. And that was with me going to work every day while I'm, doing my normal 9-to-5 job. But I wasn't ready I'm still not ready to publish it yet, because that specific album is solely meant for a demo to other artists and other performers and songwriters. I only am trying to promote that to be a songwriter. So that's why I haven't published it and distributed it yet. So low key, I just uploaded it to a private playlist in SoundCloud. So that way I've already got it uploaded. It's like a poor man's copyright without publishing it yet, which I do still need to publish it though, without distributing it. But
I get it, and that is a public copyright, but at the same time, people need to know is as soon as you have it saved on your computer, that counts as a copyright too. In case like somebody tries to come in, steal your file, it's going to show the first date on their device is later than the original date on yours. So
it's that metadata. You got to have that metadata,
right?
And that's why when I save my music, which I won't go into too much detail, but one thing that I would tell artists to do, if you don't do, when you're in a session, I personally always, let's say the name is SwampTree, right? I put SwampTree, I put a dash, and then I put the date, 2024, 12 August, or whatever it may be. And I put it in that order, 2 reasons. One, it'll show not in the hard drive or the disk. It won't show in that metadata, but it shows in your order of your working files. If I go back and I re-edit that tomorrow, I change that date to 13 August. That way I know the latest edition of whatever edits I've made, and I don't have to worry about, damn, I'm gonna open this file. Oh, I wish I had saved that file from before like last week, because what I did last week sounds better than this week. Well, I still got it. Yeah. It may take up a lot of room, but I mean, I literally have like a 5 terabyte hard drive that I use, so I'm not really tripping. But outside of that though, I just wanted to touch on that. So appreciate it. So as a songwriter, can you share a story behind one of your most meaningful or successful songs and walk us through your creative process from inspiration to the finished product?
Sure, yeah, I can go into one. I got a beat. I got a beat in a free beat pack. It was like the first these Raini beats. It was called Raini Beats.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He put out this free beat pack, so I was like, all right, well, let me see what I could do with this. So I wrote a couple different songs that night. But I wrote a song called "Fight 'Em With You" about my little brother.
Okay.
You know, and it goes. I remember back when I was chasing this shit, and everybody that I love told me to quit. I used to never even care back then. Went back to doing hood rat shit with my friends, and that's kind of like a little. It sounds like you over the phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the next bar, you can't come home because you keep getting high.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't come home because you keep getting high.
Yeah.
Right away, because the beginning it's like an intro. It's like over the phone. You know what I'm saying? How like the old Gates and stuff. Like he would have those parts over the phone where it's like you can hear it, but it's not really the bars. But right. For a songwriter out there, I wrote that song for him, but I also wrote it for anybody that had that brother or sister in their life that was like shit, little bro, I got demons too, but I'd rather fight them with you. That's the hook. You know what I'm saying?
Copy. Okay. How's your brother doing?
I got demons too, but I'd rather fight them with you. So I wrote that song for him, and he just said, "Good song," back to it. You know what I'm saying? It really didn't do much for him because he's up in Michigan in prison, like I mentioned earlier. So now for me, it's more important that because I cried writing that song. You know what I'm saying? There's parts in that song like your son grows every day, never knowing. You know what I mean? Bars like that. You know what I mean? I got a daughter that'll never know her cousin and uncle. You know what I mean? Like just putting him on the spot. Like, what are you choosing here? You say you strutting. Let me see that walk.
Yeah.
Fuck out that babble, honky. Save that talk. You know what I'm saying? That's the next bar, straight up. Like, fuck all that talking shit.
So a lot of music that I love the most is music that's intentional. A lot of music I love is music that has feeling and heart and emotion. Rather than, now granted, I vibe and I jig to the typical club shit, whatever it may be, right? But what I listen to are those type of songs, and that's exactly what that is that you're giving me. So for a lot of artists that is doing music now, and it's kind of hard to say what I'm about to say because we're from a different era, right? But
right,
where we came from, having that kind of music is what made you pop. That's what made you be categorized as a hip hop artist, as a true artist, was having those messages. And I'm not saying it has to be all the time, it has to be emotional, or all the time it has to be conscious, or whatever it may be. But as long as you have a message and you're speaking something that comes from here, that's what used to make you pop. I would love to be able to get back to that point in music.
I mean, what you saying that, reminded me of 97 Bonnie and Clyde, bro.
Oh man, Jake.
That Eminem put out 97 Bonnie and Clyde. That's the other one that you're talking about, Beyonce and Jay-Z. I'm talking about Eminem's song 97 Bonnie and Clyde, because they had that what? Huh?
Was Pac on that?
No, it was just Eminem on his first album, but the song was about him and his daughter.
Okay.
And that it was the song that at the beginning of the song, he's putting his old lady in the trunk, and then he's going to take his daughter with him.
Yeah.
And that, like, it's painting like a horror scene, horror scene. You know what I mean? Like so outlandish that it's not real, but like you're relating to how he feels, because anybody that's had especially at a young age, problems with their baby mom, can relate.
Absolutely.
And even people that didn't have kids yet, that saw what other kids was going through and saw their parents and shit, could relate what he was saying, and even if it wasn't their case.
You can relate to what's real though. And what I mean by, excuse me, you can tell when somebody's putting on a facade and being fake, being fly, but when you hear somebody that's actually telling their story, even though it may not be your story.
Right.
I personally don't know what being addicted to drugs is like. I don't consider weed a drug, marijuana a drug. I smoke that shit all the time. But hard drugs, right? I don't know what that's like. But when I hear that in a message or I hear that in a song, for lack of words, I can say I can empathize or sympathize with that, because it's like, I don't know your struggle, but hearing you speak about your struggle and being truthful about your struggle, that shit goes hard, because not everybody is willing to do that in general. Like, music is therapy. That's where you can get all of that shit out and fight them demons.
You know, when I was in prison, there's a thing in prison where it's like, with communication, that's the killer of it, right? It's not even not being around your people. It's the limited amount of time you have to interact with your loved ones. You can't physically touch. You see what I'm saying? Well, some of them was physically touching. I was reading books. Anyway,
that ain't how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is, through my music, I think I'm saying I'm paying my homage to that past, to that person I was, to all those people in my past. Like, I have a song called Streets No Defeat. And it said, them streets never taste defeat. I don't want to go back. Like, I'll never go back to trapping. I'll never go back to being a dope boy like that. And you know, when I'm looking around at these younger cats and they say all these things about being a dope boy, you can see a lot of their shit about saying they're a dope boy and shit is from listening to Gucci and Gate for the last 10 years. And now they're, you know, doing it in a new style, but it's the same old, you know,
it's not authentic.
Bitch over here and there, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind that. I don't mind that, especially if the beat bumps. But what I'm saying is, for as far as songwriting and being real, like you were saying, that's a big thing I wanted to express about songwriting, is that when I'm hearing a song, I'm cool with collaborating with anybody, but when I hear in the song that you ain't talking about a damn thing, personally, what I'm gonna do, because I have the bars for the machismo shit, you know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm gonna make you look silly, probably. You know what I mean? Because my plan is to collaborate, and I'm not gonna hate on what you got, but especially if you send me the open first, I want to be that guy that challenges you. I want you to say, "Damn, I want a features from dude, but I don't know."
Hey. So that's how I like to go when it comes to collaborations, right? Like, I want to be not in a, for lack of words, disrespectful way, but I want my shit to be the hardest verse on this motherfucker. And when you send me your verse back, if I feel your verse was harder than mine, fuck it, I'll go back to the drawing board.
Hey, like, you better rewrite it. You better rewrite it.
I don't want to be on no, like, I cannot, and I will not feature on somebody's shit that's got ass for bars on their shit. I can't do it, because now I'm associated with ass for bars. But if your bars actually went hard, and I'm like, that's a fire ass verse, and then I write something and you like, oh, let me come back, and you still got some shit that's harder than mine. Like, I love that competition. I love that it builds camaraderie, really, because it's like, I fuck with motherfuckers that make me better. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't better me as an artist and or a person, I'm cool with you. I'll rock with you. You know what I'm saying? I'll say what's happening. I'll be cordial. Right. But you just not gonna be that motherfucker I'm gonna rock with. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, there's a saying that, you know, pagan, Norse pagan, heathen, I call us heathens, but there's a saying that heathens say is steel sharp as steel, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you have to test your weapon. You can't sit there and sharpen your weapon all day and say, ooh, I got a sharp sword, and then go to clash that sword and it breaks because it's so sharp. You have to practice every day.
Absolutely.
You have to, and especially if it's somebody that you can come at with love and say, step it up on a creative level. on a constructive criticism level, but say, hey, you know, because I'm blunt with it. I'm from the generation where it's like, get your ass up, dust your ass off, and we got to get to the next level here, and it takes work. You know what I mean? It takes work.
So I say, in addition to that, right, a lot of things that I also see is a big thing now is everything evolves around money, hoes, and clothes. And that's cool. You know what I mean? I dig it. Like, I like to dress fresh just because I like to look good. This is me off camera, on camera, right? But you don't hear me talking about that shit in my song. Like, I don't think I got any song where I just talk about my money, talk about hoes. Okay, so women in general. So I'm not speaking of hoes as in thoughts like, you know what I'm saying, bitches we just smashing. Excuse me, ladies. But if I'm talking about women, I'm talking about something love related, something sexual, something emotional. I'm not talking about the typical females in the club. I'm not talking about drip, jewelry. I'm not doing that. I may show that in my regular everyday life, but I don't talk about it. I just be about it. Now, with that being said, like, a lot of the artists these days always just want to talk about this and that, and they ain't even really living that life. And that's what you're emulating as your brand. Right. You are putting yourself in this category with all these other, in my opinion, fraudulent ass rappers acting like they got holding up stacks of money that they borrowing from their manager just to take a picture, or jewelry that they renting, clothes and cars that they renting. But that's the brand that you're putting out there. So I would say, for me, branding is very important. Marketing is very important. What you talk about is very important. You know what I'm saying? What you're putting out there in the industry is very important. So I know one thing that they taught you in LA Film School was the business side, which you touched on. I kind of want to go back to that a little bit. Can you talk about the importance of brand marketing, and the steps to be successful at it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I have, you know, the outline written down. You know, what's the rap name? SwampTree Sater. What's SwampTree.ent? It's a wordplay. It's either entertainment or it's ENT, like the walking trees from The Hobbit. Yeah. So
already.
You see, like, everything I have is like a little bit of wordplay in there, right?
Okay.
But for my brand, I want to represent for hippies and heathens, because when I was looking around the rap game, and I love rap, but there's nobody really representing for, like, the deadheads, man, the cats that are spinning poi, the cats that are, like, you know, on the lot in the tents, the guys in your town that's got, you know, just tie-dye shirts for sale on the corner, blowing glass. These people, like, we are, you know, I don't want that culture to die.
Understood.
I want to bring that culture. I want to bridge that culture of love, you know, the tie-dye.
Yeah. Right on.
You know, the love of nature really is what it comes back to, in the camaraderie of human beings together, because the whole message is, yes, I might believe in what I believe, and I respect anybody that believes in what they believe. I have a collab with my dude Tone the Bone. He's got Christian songs. You know what I'm saying? I respect him more for having his Christian song. Well, not really Christian songs. He says he represents for God. You know what I'm saying? He's on the small town shit too. You know what I mean? In the country rap lane, but But really, what I want to do is, you know, I want my brand to be being able to bounce back from the bottom from addiction, because those stories are going to come out when I tell my story. Those stories of being a dope boy, you know what I mean? And I'm sure I'll have people from my past that will come up and be like, Sater whoop-de-whoop and do-do-do. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is when you really went and did the shit. When you really had 13 years and, you know, and killed a mountain 9 for good time, because I didn't want to go back. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So you have a package of what you got: name, you have intent by your name, you have a meaning behind your name. You have a look. With your look, tie-dye, be it whatever it may be, that ties into, no pun intended, but ties into your branding and your message, right? You've got that. Now, when you are making your posts that you have on your platforms, whatever that platform is, IG, YouTube, whatever, right?
Right.
What is it that you try to pay attention to and focus on when you're making your posts or your content so you can stay true to your brand?
Well, you know, sometimes I started out with "What's up, everybody? This is SwampTree Sater. Check it out." But lately, I've started to notice a little pattern. If I just say "check it out" real quick, it's a lot briefer, and I can get more in and get right to the point faster. I'm getting a little bit better about making my videos. So you know, that's what I make sure. You know, pay attention to the video. If you're out there wanting to make social media videos, I would pay attention to the time, because a 15-second video, if something happens real quick and you have one bang moment at the end, they're gonna watch that video again to see what the bang moment at the end is. Now, if you have a story, maybe a short story you want to do for a minute, keep the text popping up,
right,
to make sure your message is being met, because you know I think my target audience, many of them are probably stoners, and by the end of you sitting there burning one, and by the end of a 60-second video, you're like, what are they even talking about?
Right.
Put the words, put you know, your title with. And that really helps too. You know what I'm saying? I think of a title for the video, like, all right, I'm going to have to announce this album. So I have that in mind. Announcing the album date, you know what I mean? You have your crucial information about the message you want to do. Now, if it's just a funny video, you know what I mean? I like shooting sometimes with like no edits, you know, keep it all the way real.
Keep it 100. And that's what, that authenticity, that is what I see. I don't know if it's the algorithm or if it's just what the people are wanting, but that authenticity is what is getting so many views right now. Just those unedited, live, straight to the point videos. Whatever that video looks like is irrelevant. Purpose is, brand wise, you're just being 100. It ain't got to be professional. Right. You know what I'm saying? You just keeping it 100. And that's
right. I got the kids and nieces and nephews running around here all the time, so I put them in the videos too. Shit, because that's not fake. You know what I'm saying? I'm dad all the time. I've been dad since 2006. So, you know I was a deadbeat for a while. I was, you know, my kids would just love to tell you that. But, you know, now they're all grown. I have my own relationship with each of them. You know, there's struggles with each of them, and then there's success stories. And their story ain't over either. You know what I mean? So
I'll say, as far as being a deadbeat, and then I'll get off the subject because it's not really tied to it, but we can talk about that too at some other point.
Oh, yeah.
We all have reasons for why we do what we do in life, and we all have paths that we go down in life. It affects those that we love, be it positive or negative, and as well as it also affects us, right? But just like we have to move forward as those that are going through what we're going through, that have in turn has hurt the people that we love, I hope that, and I'm not speaking to your family specifically, I'm speaking more so to just the viewers and people in general. Like, I hope if that person was able to move forward with their life and make a change to where they're no longer a deadbeat, so to speak, give them that ability to make it right with you, and you forgive them for what they did and move forward with life. Because we're not all the same. I'm not the same I was when I was 15. Shit, I'm not the same that I was 5 years ago, real talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've done some shit to fuck people off in life, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it may be. And I hope that they would allow me to move on from that point of where we were in life to be better where we are now.
Well, can I say one thing about the deadbeat dad thing? I just want to say one thing. You know, the thing about when you're in that stage of can't see your kids even if you tried. So giving up and saying, I'll just get high, that's the state of mind I was in. I've been there.
Okay.
Those kids want to see you, whether that woman is telling you they do or not. They want to ask you questions. They want to climb all over you.
Absolutely.
And the hardest thing about it is the shame, but you got to face that shame and go to everybody with that shame and say, look, here's the shame. I'm done with it.
Absolutely.
And have a relationship with your kids.
Man, I know about that to a degree all too well, bro. You know, just to touch on it lightly, it wasn't about drugs and none of that. I have a biological 16-year-old daughter, right? And her mother and I went through what we went through, and she moved to a different state when my kid was 6 months old. And I tried, you know what I mean? Like, first off, to put it clearly, I had her for the first 6 months. You know what I mean? It was a shared thing where the mother had her on the weekends. I had her during the week. But with that being said, there was a point where because of, I ain't even gonna say that. Because of what I was choosing to do for myself, it made the mother feel some type of way. So she packed up, dipped out. I didn't get to see my kid from 6 months till currently. She reached out to me about 3-4 weeks ago, and she was like, hey, this your kid. In different words, I'm paraphrasing. She's like, hey, this your kid, you know, how are you? And I'm like, bro, what? Like, it was a long awaited moment that I was wanting to have. So just be patient, and shit can turn around on you. You know what I mean? It'll turn around for you.
Yeah. And there's always work to do, and you know, sometimes it seems like you can't do nothing. You know what I mean? But to all the dads out there, just don't give up, man. Just never give up, because it means them. If the kid's mad at you and don't want to talk to you, it means they have so much to say to you and don't know how.
And I'll tell you one last
thing. You're the adult, you know.
Right, because we're supposed to be, right? Like by the book, we're supposed to be. And I don't mean any specific book, but I just mean by typical standards, we're supposed to be the ones that...
It's in the code.
Yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So you can't fault your kids, not you, but people. You can't fault your kids for that. You know what I mean? They're just doing what they know how to do naturally as kids. And that's rely on their parental figure.
You know, and you don't realize the impact of it really till they're older. But, you know, there's always lessons in forgiveness and stuff like that. But I don't want to get too caught up in that. But the theme is family. You know what I'm saying? I went from deadbeat dad to having these 2 little babies. I'm a married man. I'm faithful to my wife. You know what I'm saying? If you're not paying attention to like, for me, for my brand, really, if you're not paying attention, you might miss some stuff. But the more you look into my brand, the cooler things get, because you see the little bars here and there that might connect. You see the whole story, like, oh shit, I see what he's talking about right here, and how it relates over here. I think I'm doing something pretty cool with my whole collection of verses.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I'm actually pretty excited to talk about the next couple of topics, right? Because I got a chance to interview one of our homies, 23 Beats. And
shout out 23 Beats, man.
Yeah, 23 Beats is that dude at 23 Beats Music.
23 Beats, man.
Y'all saw him on the last episode. One thing that I can say is I've heard his beats. I met him because I'm the same way as you. I listen to other artists. I find out about other artists. I listen to producers. I'll go to whatever platform to find a beat. That's how I came across him. I was just going through beats, and I came across one of his, and I was like, "Oh, that's live. That's live." So I started following him. Blah blah blah. We'll talk about that part. More about you. I know y'all got a collaboration that y'all are working on. So 23 and you are working on a new album. Can you talk about Southside Sunlight Volume 1, which is your new album, the inspiration behind it? What's your goals for it? What are you working on now based on the album? Because I know it's not complete. Like, what's your next project on the album? Speak to us about that, bro.
Sure. I'm really excited about this album because I feel like it's gonna help me find my fan base. Like, if you listen to this album, if you riding with me, you gonna ride all the way to the end. If you listen to this album and it's not your thing, you just gonna know it's probably the next thing probably not gonna be your thing neither.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? I don't need everybody.
No, nobody needs everybody. You can't have everybody.
You know, there's people that hate, Queen. You know what I mean? There's people that hate Michael Jackson. Like, there's people that like R. Kelly. I heard you say R. Kelly. R. Kelly made bangers. I mean, y'all wasn't there, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, right. And I won't go off on a tangent on this. Let's talk about Southside Sunlight Volume 1. The reason it's Volume 1 is because really I got most of Volume 2 already wrote.
Really?
I've been told that I should just release singles. I'm not going to just release singles.
Right.
In this game, you have to listen to your gut instinct on what
absolutely.
you do. Yeah. And
absolutely.
For this project, though, all these beats will be available. The 23 has a beat pack. All these beats will be available, and you can get these beats. So these aren't like my exclusive beats. I bought the license for a beat pack, so anybody could go get these beats. Right. And I encourage people to go get his beats, or at least I buy beats from him too. Individual license for his new stuff, because that's what we do as independent artists. I mean, if we're going to collab and it's a situation like that, you break bread when you can.
Yeah, you want to support. Right.
Exactly. So I have 9 songs. They're very special. 9's a special number. That's Odin's number. You know what I mean? Divisible by 3. Very powerful number. 23, September 23rd is the release date with me and 23's beats.
Yeah.
I just got a little numerology in there too. I think it's really cool. Because I feel like you could bob your head and you can get up and dance to each one of these songs. But if you're listening to the words, you're like, and I really made the hooks to where you can sing along. I have a couple of songs where I'm actually singing on here. I like Tom Petty, Anthony Kiedis, Bradley Knowles style, like singing. Personally, like doing that style of singing. So I have a couple of my goal when I write a hook, I want it to get stuck in your head. And my wife gets mad at me. Well, she don't get mad. She's like, I have that one stuck in my head,
Hey, that's
the point. That's the point.
That's a good
because in these songs, when I say stuff about, wizard casting spells, that's what I mean. When I say rap game wizard, I'm putting spells, I'm putting magic in there. That's going to make you remember it. It's going to make you bob your head. You're going to say the same stuff in the song back. And it's a spell. I got you under a magic spell. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a pagan. We mess with magic. It's not evil to us. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it'll make you move. You be weakening the burnings to my stuff. You know what I mean? You thought you couldn't do it no more.
Nah, that's good. That's totally different topic. We could actually talk about off camera. But I'm the same. I believe in the same. I know it's definitely a thing. It's a field. It's a I don't even want to say it's a community, but it's a community because it's so taboo, so to speak. And it's unfortunate because it shouldn't be taboo. But outside of that, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, it's natural.
Yeah.
Insane. You know what I mean?
And I do want to give a shout out to one special song on there, man. There's this guy I follow on socials. I'll give him a shout out. It's Perry's Powerhouse Fitness. On Instagram, Perry's Powerhouse Fitness. You be able to find him on my account. I wrote a song. He always says at the end of his stuff, because he's got a fitness brand. He'll get your macros and your workout in line for you, right?
Right.
But I wrote this. I just use him for motivation because he's real cut and dry, kind of like you know, like Mike Tyson's real cut and dry, or like Joe Rogan's real cut and dry, you know. But he's like, you know, if you're fat, he's calling you fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he talks about fit phobic as opposed to fat phobic and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I like the way he motivates, and I like the way he uses his socials to show his work like a math problem. You know what I'm saying? And these are very esoteric things we're dealing with mindset and workout, you know, and discipline and routine. But he always says do better at the end of his message. So I got a song on here called Do Better. And it's just all about like motivating people to do better. You know what I mean? And I like to say nobody's going to do your push-ups except for you. You are the only person that will ever do your own push-ups.
Like that.
And if you ain't doing them, the next man is.
Like that age-old saying, like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. Same thing. I can tell you all day, let's go to the gym. Let's get right. I can't make you do them push-ups, yo. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I like that. So, and just so you all know, everybody that we talked about today or we shout out today, I'm going to have them in a link. I'm going to have their handles down below, and I'm going to have a link to their sites and their platforms so y'all can get on to them, because we're giving y'all gems as far as people to be able to listen to, go check out. One of the biggest things, though, for me, honestly, is going to be August 23rd, that dope-ass Southside Sunlight Volume 1 that I already know is about to be fire. Go listen to a lot of his music right now that he got out. It's
September 20. That's September 23rd for the 23 beats.
My fault. September 23rd, or as we used to say, as I was. September 23rd coming out. Go listen to that. And he's on other major platforms too. So go listen to not just, you know, his social media, but go follow him. But then on top of that, go to all the other socials he's got. Outside of that, bro, I just want to say, man, I thank you, bro, for pulling up, dropping dimes with the Barz with LeVar family. Yo, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for the performance coming up next. And don't forget to participate in the hashtag Open Verse Challenge. It's your boy, Mr. LeVar. We part for now, but never too far. Subscribe to the channel for more Barz with LeVar. Till next time.